So I can still see many people still didn't join the class. Supposed to be like 76, right? 58 plus 38 should be the 76. So 20 people missing here, right? Okay, never mind. I will ask them later why they are absent. Okay. Right. So the first thing I want to say is actually when you try to enter or to join my Google Meet class, right? Please use MOEID. Okay. Okay, please use MOEID. Okay, because I don't want any people from not from our school, okay, enter my Google Meet class. Okay, this is for safety reason. Okay, so please use your MOE. And another reason is if you don't use MOE ID, so you will not, I will not take your attendance. Okay, because I don't know, because if you use your MOE ID, I know your name, right? You put your name there, so I know who is this one. Like before, who is a Sin RL? What's your name? What is actually your name? Already left. Okay, so make sure you put you use your ID MOE. Okay, first for your attendance. Okay, and the second one because of the safety reason. Okay, all right. So we continue. Okay, we continue our lesson. So I think we stopped until here, right? Yesterday, right? Yesterday we stopped until here. Okay, and then so we move on, right? So the first topic we learn today is the percentage of oxygen in inhale and exhale air. Okay, so I think in form 1, okay, I think form 1 you already learned about the composition of air, right? So how many for the oxygen, what is the for nitrogen, right? Okay, so actually for this one also it's quite the same, right? So actually nitrogen they got 78% and oxygen is 21%. Okay, argon is 0.9 and other gases is 0.1. Okay, right. So this is the composition of air. Okay, right. And then next one is the composition of inhale and exhale air. Okay, so for this one actually they got one experiment. Okay, so I will show you a video about the experiment. Okay, before after so later when the open school when the school open, okay, when the school open, okay, we will do that experiment. Okay, but this one I just want you to see what's the result. Okay, okay, so composition of inhale and exhale air. Okay, so the oxygen consists of 21% of inhale air. Okay, and then the carbon dioxide is a very small amount. Okay, and then the nitrogen is 79. Okay, and water vapor is very small amount. Okay, but when you exhale the air, okay, the oxygen you can see, right, the percentage decrease, right, from 21 to 17. So that means our body absorb the oxygen. Okay, and then you can see the carbon dioxide. Okay, the amount of carbon dioxide is increased. So means our body release carbon dioxide when we exhale. Okay, and then the nitrogen is same 79%, and also the water vapor also increase because at the same time, okay, we also release heat. Okay, when we exhale we also release heat. Okay, so that's why the water vapor, okay, we exhale in the large amount compared when we inhale the air. Okay, all right, so I want to show you one experiment. Okay, so this one is done by the teacher in the lab, right? So wait, I think this one. Okay, right. Okay, I share first.
New Year. My name is Madam Shaza and I teach science for Form 1 Environment 2.1 as well as inhale and exhale growth gas job.
Okay, so this one is actually on your textbook, alright, page 50 until page 51. Okay, so the experiment is actually to study the difference in the percentage of oxygen inhale and exhale air. Okay, so the manipulated is the type of air in a jar gas. Okay, and then the responding is the final water level. Okay, and then the constant variable is the air temperature. Okay, so what we need is a candle. Okay, it's a plasticine, the matches, okay, permanent marker, water, inhale air, and exhale air. Okay, alright.
jar, figure 2.1.
Okay, so this is the apparatus. Okay, how we set up the apparatus. Okay, so we put the water in the basin, right? And then we put the candle here. We stick a candle here. Okay, then we have a glass jar. Okay, so but before that we have to mark, right? We have to mark our glass jar with 5 equal marks. So this one maybe you can use a ruler and then you can divide into 5 equal marks here. Okay, right? So let's see the experiment.
Then the different bands
Okay, so
over
this is
here, the
actually the,
plasticine.
okay, so now we already have the apparatus. Okay, we already set up the apparatus. Okay, so this is the glass jar. Okay, so inside we put the rubber tube here. Okay, so this one you will blow. Okay, you blow from here. Okay, and the gas will go inside here. Okay, this one is a candle. This one is actually to determine, right, because you know the candle need the oxygen. Okay, so this is the function of the candle here, right?
Some matches, rubber bands. Okay, rubber bands that I already put on the gas jar.
Okay, they put the rubber
And
band
you
as a mark
need
here.
glass rubber tube and the 10 equal parts.
Okay, but this one
One,
is
two, three,
we divide into 10 equal parts. If 5 equal parts also okay, it's okay already, right?
4, 5, 6, 7 that we breathe in that surround us. So we just convert the gas jar. That's to divide the gas
Wait.
jar into 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then light up the candle and invert the gas jar that contains an inhale air into the candle. Since the inhale air
Okay, so for this one, we investigate the inhale air. Okay, since we already know actually the inhale air is come from our surrounding, right? So if we just put the glass jar, okay, to the candle, okay, so means it's actually is our inhale air because we get our inhale air from the surrounding. So means it's all same, okay, it's same like the surrounding. So we just put the glass jar there.
is the same as the air that we breathe in that surround us. So we just collect the air around us and just invert them onto the candle. You will see the water level are increasing up to.
Okay, so you can see here the water level is increasing. So you know the combustion they need the oxygen. Okay, so when the if the candle want to light up, it will use the oxygen, right? So when you use the oxygen, means in this glass jar, okay, after the candle it's not light up anymore, means the oxygen is already finished in the glass jar. So the oxygen that already being used will be replaced by the water. Okay, so means this one they got until 2, right? Okay, until here, until this level. So means this is the oxygen that being used, okay, to light up the candle. Okay.
The second level, and the flame goes out as well. So it means the candle already used up all of the oxygen that are present in the inhale air. So as you can see here, the water level is up to 2 parts, 2 over 10. So that means the inhaled air contains about 20% of oxygen. Then
Yeah. So means that means just now we already know that the composition of the oxygen is like 21%, right? So it's like quite the same. But this one because 2 level, the water rise until level into 2 levels. So means it consists of 20% because it marks with 10 rubber band, right? Okay, so means when it rise to 2 means it's 20%. So means 20% of oxygen has been used to light up the candle. So with our inhaled air is actually 20% because the air that we breathe in is actually is equals to the air from the surrounding. Okay. Alright. So the next part is
I'm going to repeat the experiment by using exhale air. Collecting the exhale air is quite tricky. So what I did was I fill the gas jar full with water and I cover it with a glass cover like that. Alright. And then I invert it into the water, immediately into the water like that. Alright. Take out the glass cover, and I will put it on top of the tube. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blow exhale air through the rubber tube, so the exhale air will fill the gas jar. So it's just about a water displacement method. So the air that I blow in will displace the water out. All right, so I'm just gonna blow. So that's it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to take this one out, right?
okay. So now when the teacher already blow to the glass jar. So actually in this glass in the glass jar, right? It consists of the exhaled air. Okay. So now it consists of exhaled air. So we see what happens next.
So I'm gonna light up the candle again to test the oxygen level of the exhale air. All right. So I'm going to carefully cover this one up.
Because she doesn't want the exhale air
Okay,
to lose the
and take
surrounding,
it out.
right?
You should
Now,
remove the water out. All right. Okay, and I will carefully invert it on into the candle.
okay.
So you can see the water is rising up. The water rises about just a little bit higher than the first level. It's about one and a half, something like that. Exhale air contain about.
Okay, so you can see the water only rise until before this is 2 level, right? So for the inhaled air, you can see it's only rise up until 1.5 level like that. So means the oxygen is decreased. Okay, because our body absorb the oxygen. Okay, so only that only 1/4 1.5, right? Only 1.5 oxygen in the exhale air. Okay, so you can see the level here. So all this you will do in the lab. Okay, when the school open, we do this experiment. Okay, so now you already know how to do. So later when the school open, you can do it on your own.
About 15% of oxygen. All right, that's all for today. For the first experiment to determine the composition is I divided the jar into 10 equal parts instead.
Okay, so that's the experiment. Okay, so we continue to the next one. Okay, the next experiment, because actually they got two part. Okay, they got two part. The part one is the percentage of oxygen, then another one is the carbon dioxide. Okay.
First, label two conical flasks, X and Y.
Okay. Comparison of carbon dioxide content of inhaled air and exhaled air. Okay, so we see.
Conical flasks X and Y.
You can refer this on your textbook. Okay.
Fill the flasks with the same volume of hydrogen carbonate indicator. Connect the flasks with tubes and stoppers.
Okay, this one is actually for the the solution, right? The solution inside here is actually to determine whether the carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide is actually the acidic gas. Okay, so they we want to determine whether there's a carbon dioxide, right? When we inhale or exhale our gas.
Breathe gently in through the mouthpiece. Note any bubbles appearing in the flasks. Then breathe gently out through the mouthpiece. Note any bubbles appearing in the flasks. Breathe in and out through the mouthpiece several times. Finally, note any color change of the hydrogen carbonate indicator.
Okay, so you can see this one, the color is much darker than this side, right? So, right, so this is the experiment. Okay, actually this is the experiment. Okay, so the first one, okay, so set up the apparatus. So you already see how the apparatus being set up. Okay, so breathe in and out gently through the rubber tubing. Okay, so this one is actually we will do also in the experiment. Do not breathe too hard. Keep doing this until the lime water. But this one they use the lime water. Okay, but in the lab we use the hydrogen carbonate. Okay, and because the lime water, you know that we change color, right? Okay, for the carbon dioxide. Okay, it will react with the carbon dioxide and the color will become cloudy. Okay, right. So this one you will do the experiment. Okay, and this one also already been discussed just now. Okay, right. So means when you do the experiment just now, okay, this one, okay, that one they use the hydrogen carbonate, but this one they use the lime water. Okay, so for the inhale air, okay, you know that when we inhale the oxygen, right? So of course here we not have any reaction here. Okay, because we inhale we only take the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, so we didn't produce any carbon dioxide here. Okay, but we exhale, okay, we release the carbon dioxide. Okay, so when the carbon dioxide will release, okay, it will react with the lime water, and then the lime water will turn cloudy. So means this one we already showed that when we inhale our gas, okay, we will release the carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide will turn the lime water into the cloudy. Okay, so this is actually the inhale and exhale. So this one we do the experiment later. Okay. Right, any question you want to ask teacher before I move on to the next one? Why did you share my screen with? Wait. Yeah. The one that I'm talking just now is this one. Okay. Right. So when you inhale, right? So we only take the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Okay. So mean there's no reaction in the flask P. Okay. But when we exhale, okay, we release the carbon dioxide, and then the carbon dioxide we turn the lime water into cloudy. Okay. So we do this experiment later in school, so maybe you can see it clearly. Okay. So anything you want to ask before I move on to the next one? Yeah, I hope you're clear. Okay. About the percentage, right, of the air that when we inhale, okay, and when we exhale, okay, especially the oxygen, right? You can see the amount of oxygen when we release our when we exhale, right? So the amount of oxygen is decreased, okay, compared when we inhale. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one. Okay. Gases exchange in human body. Okay. So the oxygen gas diffuse into blood capillaries. Okay. Diffuse into blood capillaries to be transported to all the body cells. Okay. To all the body cells due to the high concentration of oxygen in alveoli and low concentration of oxygen in the bloodstream. So I already told you, right, the alveolus will release the oxygen to red blood cell, and then the red blood cell, okay, will bring the oxygen to our part of body, okay, and then it will release the oxygen, and it will take the oxygen from our cell, okay, and then it will transport back, okay, to the alveolus, okay, to release the carbon dioxide and take the oxygen, okay. But this process that we use the diffusion, okay, diffusion. Okay, so diffusion is actually it must travel from the high concentration to the low concentration. Okay, so the next one, in the blood, okay, oxygen will combine with the hemoglobin. Okay, this one is very important. You have to know that inside our red blood cell, they got the hemoglobin. Okay, so hemoglobin will transform with the will combine with the oxygen to form the oxyhemoglobin. So this is the equation. Oxygen plus, sorry. Wait. Okay, the oxygen will combine with the hemoglobin, okay, to form oxyhemoglobin, okay, oxyhemoglobin. So this is the equation, okay. The oxygen will combine with hemoglobin inside the red blood cell to form the oxyhemoglobin. Then this oxyhemoglobin will be transported to all the body cells, okay. Right. So this is a diagram. So this is the alveolus. Okay. So this one when it travels, so let's say from here capillary, right? Okay, and then this one the oxygen will enter red blood cell. Okay. So now it become oxyhemoglobin. Okay, the hemoglobin inside the red blood cell it become oxyhemoglobin because it's already take the oxygen. Okay, and then it will travel. Okay, it will travel, go back to the heart because the heart will pump, right? We pump out the blood to throughout our body, okay, throughout our body, okay, and then at the same time, okay, the carbon dioxide also will be released, okay, and we release inside the alveolus, and then the alveolus will take to our respiratory system, okay, and then it will release to the surrounding, okay. Right, so this is the process. Okay, so the first one, the blood leaving the blood capillary. Okay, so we start from here, right? Blood entering the blood capillary first. Okay, so blood entering the blood capillary. Okay, higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Okay, but this one they got the high carbon dioxide and low oxygen for this red blood cell. Okay, so it will travel here. Okay, and then the carbon dioxide here will be diffused to the alveolus. Okay, and the oxygen will be, okay, diffused into the blood capillary and will combine with the hemoglobin. Okay, and then it will form oxyhemoglobin. Then it will travel back to the heart. Okay, and then heart will pump it, okay, through our body, our cell body. Okay, right. So this is how the air, okay, oxygen and carbon dioxide is changed in the alveolus. Okay, so the first one, the blood enter the blood capillary, but this one the blood has a high concentration concentrated of the carbon dioxide. Okay, and then the carbon dioxide will diffuse into the alveolus. Okay, and the oxygen will diffuse in the red blood cell. Okay, and then now the oxygen now has a high concentration of oxygen, okay, because they already exchanged the gas here, right? Okay, and then it will travel, goes to the heart, and then the heart will pump to our all body system, okay, to give the oxygen. Okay, so you have to remember the equation that I told just now. Okay, the oxygen will diffuse with the blood capillary and combines with hemoglobin, okay, in the red blood cell to form oxyhemoglobin. So that is the equation that important that you need to remember. Okay, right. So this is another one. Okay, this one you don't need to remember. Okay, just to see how does the gas exchange. Okay, so transport of oxygen. So it takes place through diffusion. Okay, the oxygen breathed into the lung is initially dissolved in the moist layer of the alveoli. Okay, so one alveolus we call it as the alveoli. Okay, and then diffuse into the blood capillary. Okay, and then the oxygen we combine with the hemoglobin in red blood cell to form the oxyhemoglobin. Okay, and then the oxygenated blood is then sent to all parts of our body through the circulation system of the blood. So this one will be taken by the heart. Okay, so this one will be taken by heart. Okay, the heart will circulate the blood into our body. Okay. Okay, and then when the blood reach the target tissue, the oxygen will be released. Okay, and then diffuse into the tissue cell because of this low oxygen concentration. Okay, and then you will take the carbon dioxide. So when you take the carbon dioxide, it's called in the blood is called now is the deoxygenated blood. Means it has a low concentration of carbon dioxide. Okay, so the low concentration of oxygen. Okay, so deoxygenated blood flows back to the heart and is then pumped to the lungs to be oxygenated again. Okay, so this will occur like a cycle. Okay, yeah, like this. Okay, alright. So I have a video. Maybe you can understand more. Okay, wait. Not this one. Yes, this one. Gas exchange.
All of our cells need energy. They get it by breaking down glucose, a simple sugar we get from food. This process, called cellular respiration,
This one you
uses
already learned in
oxygen
Form
and
1, right?
produces carbon dioxide as waste.
Cellular respiration to
The main
produce
function of the
energy.
respiratory system is to provide the oxygen from out of the air and remove the carbon dioxide into the air. This takes place in the lungs, with the gases carried to and from the cells by the bloodstream. The exchange of gases between the blood and the air.
So you can see this is the alveolus, right? And it has a blood capillary that attached to the alveolus. Okay, so this one is for the gas exchange. Okay, so inside the blood capillary, so there will be a red blood cell here.
Air occurs in the alveoli, microscopic air sacs in the lungs that are surrounded by tiny blood vessels. When we inhale, all 300 million alveoli expand and fill with air. Oxygen diffuses from the alveoli into the blood, and carbon dioxide diffuses from the blood into the alveoli. Diffusion is the natural movement of gas or liquid particles from an area of high.
Okay, so this is the process, what we call it as a diffusion. Okay, so maybe some of you ask, what is actually a diffusion? So diffusion is actually the movement, right? The movement of gas from higher concentration, okay, to the lower concentration.
Higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. Think of how the smell of baking biscuits spreads out from the oven right through the house. Diffusion can even take place through a membrane if the particles are small enough to get through it.
You can
For
see it's
example,
travel.
a helium balloon that's been left for a couple of days gets smaller and softer because the helium has slowly diffused through the skin of the balloon into the surrounding air. The walls of the alveoli are membranes too, ones that oxygen and carbon dioxide can diffuse through. Because breathing keeps bringing fresh air into the lungs and the circulatory system keeps...
Okay, so for now we know that we inhale, right? So this the oxygen, okay, the oxygen is higher on this part, okay, at the alveolus, okay, and this part at the blood capillary, okay, they got the lower concentration of oxygen. So means the oxygen will diffuse to the blood capillary due to the low concentration of oxygen here. Because we already know that the blood that travel, okay, to the alveolus is actually low, okay, low oxygen, high carbon dioxide. Okay, so here low oxygen and this part is high oxygen. So the oxygen will travel to the blood capillary. Okay, and then this part, okay, they got high carbon dioxide, and this part now has low carbon dioxide. So it will diffuse, the carbon dioxide will diffuse to the alveolus due to the low concentration of carbon dioxide in the alveolus. Okay, because we already know diffusion is the movement of gas from high concentration to low concentration.
bringing blood that is low in oxygen and high in carbon dioxide. Diffusion always acts to bring oxygen into the body and take carbon dioxide out. And this goes on day in, day out, for every minute of our lives.
Okay, so that's what happened during the
so that our
gas
cells stay alive
exchange.
and so that we stay alive.
Alright, so do you understand any question you want to ask teacher for the gas exchange? Okay, remember the equation, okay, for the oxygen plus hemoglobin become oxyhemoglobin. Okay, alright, and then what happened? Okay, with this process of what? Process of diffusion. Okay, so diffusion means the gas will travel from the high concentration to the low concentration. Okay, give me a moment, please. For now, it's noisy. Okay, sorry. Okay, and then so here is actually, right, you know already this one when the blood enter our alveolus, okay, it already has low concentration of oxygen and high concentration of carbon dioxide. Okay, so inside here the alveolus has the high concentration of oxygen and low concentration of carbon dioxide. Okay, so means there will be gas exchange here because of the different concentration. So this part they got the high concentration of oxygen and this part has a low concentration of oxygen. Use the diffusion method. Okay, the oxygen will travels to the inside our red blood cell due to the low concentration. And because this one has a high concentration and high concentration of carbon dioxide, and this one has a low concentration of carbon dioxide, so the red blood cell, okay, the gas will
Teacher,
yes?
you're not presenting.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Right. Okay. For this one, right? Just now I explained, right? When the blood enters, so this one has a low oxygen, high carbon dioxide. Okay. So this in the alveolus, it has a high oxygen, low carbon dioxide. Okay. So since this one has a high oxygen, this one has a low oxygen, the gas will travel through the diffusion. Okay. So it will diffuse to the red blood cell. Okay. And then because of this one, because of the red blood cell now has a high carbon dioxide and this one has a low carbon dioxide, so it will travel from the red blood cell to the alveolus. Okay, the carbon dioxide will travel from the red blood cell to the alveolus. Okay, through the process of diffusion. Okay, so remember diffusion is actually the movement of gas, okay, from the high concentration of gas to the low concentration of gas, right? Okay, next we see the adaptation of the alveolus. Okay, alright, adaptation of the alveoli for efficient gas exchange. So the first one, they must have a large surface area. So this one to increase the rate of diffusion. Okay, and then must have a very thin walls. Usually for one cell, there are about 10 micrometer. The size of the cell is 10 micrometer. Micro is 10 power of negative 6, right? So 10 power 10, 10 times 10 power of negative 6, right? So that is the thickness of, for our cells. Okay, and then most inner surface, alright, and then the next one is surrounded by a network of blood capillaries. So there will be a lot of blood capillaries, okay, that will attach to the alveolus or the gas exchange. So this is the adaptation for alveolus. And then you have to remember the alveolus also is a moist. Okay, it's a moist, has a moist structure. Okay. Okay, so this is the adaptation. Okay, millions of alveoli to provide a very large surface area for the gases exchange and a layer of moisture of the inner surface of the alveolus. Because when it moist, so means the oxygen can diffuse, right? Can diffuse better. Okay, if the alveolus is moist. Okay, and then next one is the network of the capillaries around the outer surface of the alveoli. So there are a lot, right? A lot of the network of capillaries that attach to increase the rate of the exchange of gas. Okay, and then got thin epithelium that is one cell thick, right? So to allow rapid diffusion of gases to and from the alveoli. So the epithelium is very thin. Okay, like only one small, one cell thick only. Okay, one cell thick only. That I already explained about 10 or sometimes 100 micrometer. Okay, all right. So next one, yeah, we stop until here first. Okay, so I want you to let's try to answer this quiz. Okay, so I will call name. Okay, so I want you to give the answer. So let's see. I will call your name and you can give me the answer. Brandon Brandon, can I call you Brandon? Brandon, are you here? Can you give me the answer for this one? The division of trachea forms what? What's the answer? You can put this one is A, B, C, D. Or you can just put what's the answer, main bronchi or what? Main bronchi, alveoli, lungs or nose. Which one is the answer? A. Okay, so the division of trachea forms main bronchi. Okay, correct, very good. Okay, next one I will call Chen Juyen. Chen Juyen, are you here? Okay, for this one, what happens when you breathe in? You have to tick all that applies. So you can tick more than one here. Which one is the answer? What happened when you breathe in? Chen Juyan, are you here? Yes, okay. So what's the answer? What's the answer for this one? What happened when you breathe in? This one must have more than one answer. You can open your mic also, B and C. Okay, means this one increased volume in thorax also, and this one diaphragm contracts and flatten. Okay, is it correct? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, next one I would like to call Lim Jiajia. Lim Jiajia. Lim Jiajia. Yes, alright. Diaphragm is what? What is a diaphragm actually? What is actually diaphragm? D, structure in bones. Okay, let's see whether it's correct or not. Structure in bones. Okay, alright. Diaphragm is actually a muscle because it can contract, right? Remember your friend answered just now, okay? When you breathe in, okay, when you inhale, right, the diaphragm will flatten, okay, it will contracts and also it will be flattened. So means if it can contract and it can relax, right, that means it's a muscle. Okay, our bone cannot relax and cannot contract. Okay, so only muscle can do that, right? So okay, good, right? All right, the next one I will call Pavandik. Pavandikau. Are you here, Pavandik? Yes. Okay. So what's the answer? What is the site of gas exchange? D. Alveoli. Good. The alveoli. This is where the gas and the oxygen exchange, right, through the diffusion. Okay. All right. The next one is Pun Yan Chong. Pun Yan Chong. Pun Yan Chong. Are you here? Am I? Yes, alright. Am I pronounce your name correctly? Alright. So which of the following is not happening during inhalation? During inhalation, what happens? B. Expands the volume of the chest cavity. Okay. This one yesterday I explained, right? During inhalation, okay, our diaphragm will be contract and then it will flatten. Okay. So when it's flattened, okay, so means the volume of our chest cavity, right, it will be increased. Okay. When it increase, the pressure will become low. The pressure of air outside or surrounding is higher, it will push the air inside the inside our body. So which of the following is not happening during the inhalation? So the answer, your answer is this one, right? Yeah, actually the diaphragm is not relaxing. Okay, the diaphragm is contracting. Okay. Alright, so let's see another person. Tan Xiao Yang. Tan Xiao Yang. Tan Xiao Yang. Are you here? Tan Xiao Yang. Remember for the monitor, please take the attendance so I can double check with mine. Tan Xiao Yang. If you don't respond, then I will consider that you absent, right? You absent, yes, CO2. Okay, good. Okay, during gas exchange, what enters the alveoli to the capillaries? Carbon dioxide enters the alveoli to the capillaries. From alveoli to the capillaries. So alveoli to the capillaries is carbon dioxide or oxygen. Remember the diagram I showed before, right? Here, the diagram. Yeah, this one. You see, the carbon dioxide travels from the red blood cell to the alveoli. alveoli, and then from the alveoli to the capillary, blood capillary is actually the oxygen. Okay, so actually what's the answer is, what's the answer, Zioyang? Is it carbon dioxide or oxygen? From alveoli is the oxygen or carbon dioxide? You see the diagram here, this one. This one you can see from the alveoli to the blood capillary is what? Yes, oxygen. Okay, oxygen, right? So actually from alveoli to capillaries is oxygen. Okay, it's oxygen. But if from capillaries to the alveoli, that one is the carbon dioxide. Can you understand that, Ziyang? Okay, so this one is oxygen. Okay, next one. Tong Ming Dong. Tong Ming Dong, are you here? Tong Ming Dong, yes. So what's the answer? What's the name of two main branches from the trachea? One to each lung. So this one we call as what? Bronchi, capillaries, bronchioles, or alveoli. Which one is the answer? D, this one. Alveoli, is it? Alveoli. Okay. What is the name of two main branches from the trachea? Okay, so for the trachea is actually what? Lisa? Is it correct? Anyone want to try? Anyone want to try? It's not alveoli. Alveoli is the where the gas exchange occur. Right. The answer is C. Bronchioles. Bronchioles is after bronchi. Bronchi, bronchioles, and then alveolus. Okay. Right. So you have to remember the structure. Okay. Right. So let's see the diagram again. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So from here, bronchi. Bronchi is actually is 1. For 2 is a bronchiole. Right, so let's move on to the next one. So what adaptation does the alveoli have for the efficient gas exchange? So I will call teacher, isn't it bronchus? Bronchus, wait, trachea, bronchus, and then bronchials. Yeah, bronchus, bronchi. Yeah, actually bronchus, right, the answer, but there's no answer there. Wait, I see the diagrams. Divide into bronchus is 2, bronchi is 1. Yes, bronchus is 2, bronchis is only 1 here. Okay, so the answer should be bronchi. Right? Okay, for the next one, what adaptation does the alveoli have for the efficient gas exchange? Okay, Meijun, Tan Meijun. So which one is the answer? B. Thick walls. Here, thick walls. Okay, so alveoli should have the thin walls, right? So thin walls, that means the gas can easily absorb. Okay, easily can diffuse, right? Easily can diffuse. If you have a thin walls, then it will easily diffuse than rather to have a thick wall. So it should be thin walls. Okay. Alright, next one. What is found around the alveoli? Okay, this one is easy. Paging. What is found around alveoli? Paige, are you here? D, capillaries. Yes, very good. A, blood capillaries. Okay, next one, number 10. Given this following structure, alveoli, bronchi, bronchioles, which of the following is correct order in which air will flow after inhalation? So this one I will just open for anyone to answer. Anyone want to try? Anyone want to try for this question? C, 3, 2, 1. Some answer C, 3, 2, 1, C, C. C means yellow, isn't it? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 2 means from bronchi, and then bronchioles, then alveoli. Yes, very good. Okay, and then last one. Okay, the air sacs that are covered with capillaries where gas exchange takes place. Okay, this one also I open for anyone to answer. Which one? This one is quite easy. So where's the gas exchange occur? At which part? A, alveoli. Good. Okay. Which of the following are features of the alveoli that adapt them to gas exchange? So you have to choose more. No, this one I already give you. So you can choose one, more than one answer. 1, 2, or 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thin wall, dry surface. I think I said before that the structure of the alveolus, they have the moist, right? Moist surface, not dry. Okay, so the answer should be 1, 2. Okay, so high surface area and also thin walls. Okay, the alveolus, they has a moist surface. Okay, this one for it's easy for the gas to diffuse. Okay, inside the alveolus if the surface is moist. So number 1 and 2 for this. Okay, 1 and 2. Very good. Okay, last one before I stop. When you breathe, your lungs takes in what and remove what? B, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Good. Okay. So that's all for today. This one is the redemption question. Yeah, this one you have already explained the answer. The answer should be the muscle, right? The friend is the muscle. Okay. So I will stop until now. Okay, I already assigned you quiz and also the live worksheet, okay, online. Okay, so what I want to do, I want you to answer, and then tomorrow we have a tutorial, right? So I will discuss all the exercise that I gave, okay, tomorrow, okay, during our tutorial. Maybe like only one period only, and then another period I will give you another homework. Okay, is it okay? So for all the homework that I give you, okay, I will discuss tomorrow with you, right? So I think I see you tomorrow. Okay, so take care class. Alright, bye. Bye.